Hello and welcome to That Shooting Show. My name is Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. It is a bittersweet day here in South Africa. I will be going to the airport in how long? Shanae's got a mouthful of food. 6 hours? All right, so in 6 hours, we have to go try to do a semi-black market Eliquis prescription. We're going to get some Eliquis blood thinner at drastically reduced prices. So we've got that mission. We're going to go get a Bluxom t-shirt. Then we're going to go to the airport. But first, I want to tell you this has been an absolutely amazing experience. Shanae, have you ever seen a greater rate of improvement out of a shooting class?
Nope.
Nope, nope,
Nope.
never, never. I'm telling you guys, the classes that we did with Kita and the stuff that Kita did in her private lessons and the stuff I did on the range by myself, I have never seen hit factors come up like this so quickly. What I've learned is that the country's shooting culture is the same as that country's best shooter. So, for example, in Brazil, they look at Brazil's best shooter and they think that's the way. Well, sometimes there's a better way. South Africa has been shaken up a little bit. We have a new semi best shooter in South Africa, don't we?
We do indeed.
We do indeed. And I got to spend the day with him. This guy is amazing. Should we say his name? Yeah, Peter Berger. Oh, we had so much fun with Peter Berger, and we identified a way. We think this might be South Africa's new best shooter. He spent 2 days with me. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see Keita, so I had to do the Steve Anderson Stone Age Keita Bussy movement introduction portion. I mean, I can do a little bit. I'm not as good as she is with the movement stuff, but we were able to get massive, massive increases. His particular opportunity was transitions, or as they say in South Africa, transitions. We got to get those transitions down. So instead of pop 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 pop, it's pop 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 pow pow pow. We did do pow pow pow. We had a pow pow pow. Wow, Shanae, do you have a favorite moment from everything you saw?
I just always enjoy the match mode stuff when they try it the first time and then we do a bunch of dry fires and just to prove how much dry fire on the range can drastically improve everything that you're doing.
Yeah, dry fire on the range. That is something that I didn't know anything about. Because typically when you're going to the range, you can only shoot live ammo at the range. So you go to the range to shoot live ammo.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It never occurred to me. I mean, I was already dry firing 4 hours a day at home. So maybe it wasn't as great a need for me. But I'm telling you guys, dry fire at the range, it is brilliant. Oh, and we have some news. We just booked September 13 and 14 in New York with Kita Bussy at the Saspara Gun Rod and Gun Club. We just booked that. So you can check that out on the website. That's ready to go. The Kita Bussy video review is still there. It's been moved to the product section. So Kita Bussy's video review has gone from a product, a service to a product to make buying that a little bit easier. Everything on the website comes with $200 in Hunter's HD Gold Cash. Literally every product there. And the way that works is at the classes, I will bring them with me. If we do something online, you'll send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and you'll get your Hunter's HD Gold $200 gift certificate and you will have joy. And speaking of joy, what a fantastic trip this was. I want to thank Shanae for making everything super easy as always, keeping us in libations and nutrition. Kept me and Keita both very well fed and well drank, well hydrated, both in the morning and the evening and in the evening. Sorry, the afternoon and the evening, and it was just an amazing trip. Also, want to let you know I will be back in South Africa for the World Shoot. I'm working on what I'm going to call the golden ticket, which will combine products and services from me and Kita. You're going to get books, you're going to get swag. We're still working on the details and the pricing. But if you want private coaching for the World Shoot from Steve Anderson and Kita Bussy at the same time, including on-site mental game help from me, that is coming. If you're interested, send me an email or her. Mine is Steve at andersonshooting.com. Hers is 180firearmstraining at gmail.com. We are going to be working together on this golden ticket, and it is going to be magnificent. Let's see, what other news do we have? All the books are back in stock. We've got the shipping figured out. Shanae and Steve sort of together masterminded international shipping. So we should be shipping to virtually every country right now. And I'm sorry if the shipping's expensive. We chose UPS as our international shipper, and that is working flawlessly. So go to andersonschutte.com, check out all the books. What I want to talk to you about today, today is going to be kind of a short program because we do have to go to the airport. But I want to talk to you about science and simplicity of improvement. Okay. From my perspective, let's let this be simple. We're going to use dry fire to get fast. We're going to use the range primarily to learn to call our shots. And then we're going to learn match mode so that we shoot with a singular focus. Oh, and I just came up with the clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how virtually everybody in class, you want to sit a little closer over here so you can participate? We love it when you participate. Virtually everybody in class has a moment where they think they are so different and so special and so unique that they can outsmart some of these principles. Have you noticed that?
Because my mama told me I'm special.
You are special. You're very special, but you are not special enough to outsmart the basic principles of improvement, subconscious performance, and mental management.
Mhm.
And everybody tries it.
Each and every one. Maybe the smart ones, the really, really smart ones don't go there.
Only the ones that I've had before.
Mm.
Every time I get a new shooter in class for the first time, we have to go through this. And the smarter they are on paper, the more they want to do it. But listen, you listen to this program, you are different, you are awesome, you are special, but you are not so different, so special, or so smart that you can outsmart these principles. For example, the conscious mind can only think of one thing at a time.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if you are attempting to think about your draw, think about your reload, think about your movement, you can only think of those things one at a time. And if those are subconscious skills, you literally have to relearn them on the clock. So the worst case scenario would be I must get a great grip, I must get a great draw, I must have a great first shot, and then I must execute this new great movement technique I learned from Kita Bussey. Well, those are all wonderful things. But in performance, you cannot be thinking about those things.
If they are not subconscious, you cannot access them as a conscious skill while you're executing all of those.
Well, you can make them a conscious skill, but you have to kind of relearn on the clock.
Yes, and then you have to sacrifice something else, which is usually accuracy, to access those things consciously.
Absolutely. And you're not really accessing them consciously. We have to use the right words.
Yes.
You're relearning them. You're practicing them. Right. And here's another principle you cannot violate. Shooting matches are not practice. Your local match is not practice. You will never do enough of any technique for that to count as practice. You're going to do 5 draws. Awesome.
So if you work out how long a person actually spends, let's call it a 6-stage local match.
Yeah.
So you've got maximum 30 seconds, which would be probably your longest stage.
Yeah.
So now you add 30 seconds, 20 seconds, so we're on 50 seconds, add another 20 seconds, we're on 70 seconds.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 short ones, which is 4, 5. You're not even over a minute.
Right. That's an excellent point. I'd never heard it expressed that way. But that's amazing. You're right. At your local match, you are going to be shooting for about a minute.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be practicing maybe a minute and a half.
At most.
At most 90 seconds at your local match. You guys probably call them level 1s or leagues.
Level 1s.
Okay. So yeah, at your level 1, you're going to be shooting for maybe 90 seconds. You are not practicing anything.
Nothing.
But what you can do is practice competing. You can practice competing all day long.
Because you can do that in your preload, your action phase, your reinforcement phase, and all of those things is now becoming minutes and minutes and minutes of learning how to become a better competitor.
You are practicing competing all day long. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is they goof off and grab ass at their local match, and then they go to an important, let's use the air quotes, an importance match. And then they want to take it all seriously. And they don't have a process for doing that.
Exactly.
Like they don't know how to do it. And then somebody says to me, do you remember that phone call I had with the IDPA guy? He says, the socialization is really important to me. That's great. But he didn't call me freaking out, wanting to pay $100 for how to socialize better at a major IDPA match.
No.
So, and what I tell him is, hey, as soon as you're done shooting, you should goof off. You should socialize. You should take a break from your mental process so that you don't get mentally fatigued.
But some people oftentimes don't have the discipline to firstly know where they are in the shooting order of the squad.
Right.
Then when it's 3 shooters before them, when they should be starting to start their mental process, they are still busy loading mags or coming off the range patching and stuff like that. So they're not disciplined enough to know when they should start switching on or switching off. So now it's either on or off. It's like choosing speed.
Yep. And what they should be doing is using their level 1 matches for training this process, practicing this process, getting better at this process. Oh, that reminds me, we have a lot of online mental management opportunities coming up. Go to andersonshooting.com, click on classes, or in America, you'd say classes. It's going to take me a week to quit saying Duspin. My lacquer's quietly improved.
Your lacquer is great.
My lacquer's lacquer. My Bluxom is great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting my Henny Bluxom t-shirt later today. Do we have time? Yeah. And what does Bluxom mean, actually?
Well, it's either hitting somebody, you punching them.
Okay.
Or it can be an expression of surprise.
Okay, I like that much better.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Oh, Bluxom, there is a dog.
Excellent. And you had a Bluxom this morning when you woke up and found out that the dog chewed up the entire chair cushion.
Yes.
And that was not me. I was not responsible for that act of violence in any way. I'm a very peaceful, passive person.
Yes, you are.
I only get frustrated when I don't understand something. If I can understand something, it's not a problem. I only get frustrated when I don't understand something, right? Because I'm a smart guy for the most part. What kind of bird was that?
A hottie-daw.
A hottie-daw.
Hottie-daw.
Oh, by the way, how was your boom chakalaka?
I love that stuff.
So chakalaka is actually a dish.
Yes.
And is it fair
side dish.
And is it fair to say that boom chakalaka comes from chakalaka?
Yes.
I mean, where else could it come from?
Boom chakalaka is derived from chakalaka. Yes.
Now, I was otherwise occupied last night, but did you say boom before you ate your chakalaka?
No.
Do you have some left, or did you finish it all?
I just finished it.
Did you say boom that time?
No.
Dang it, Shanae. Every time you said chakalaka, I need you to say boom. Now, let's talk about some other things people cannot outsmart. You cannot, the conscious control of speed is always. Henny, what's our wheels up time for the doctor?
1 o'clock.
Wheels up at 1 o'clock, so 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up. We'll make it quick. All right. You cannot consciously control speed and have good shooting. The conscious control of speed is always going to be an error. And you are not gifted or talented or smart enough to consciously control your speed and make the right choice. If you try to do two things at once, one of them will fail, and you cannot outsmart that either. And subconscious skill, by definition, means you're not thinking about it. You can't outsmart that either, and I'll prove it to you. How great do you shoot when you're thinking about your feet?
No, not at all.
Terrible. So why would you think about your feet in competition? And let's go a step further. If we're going to think about our feet in training, we shouldn't expect to shoot very well. Now, I have only ever observed one KWC class. I've never got to attend the whole thing because my body has not been in good enough shape to perform.
Yeah.
However, you observed several of them.
I did, yes.
Okay, and does she give them a pass on accuracy for a while when the technique is new?
She doesn't even patch the targets when they do those
really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so I wonder if that's kind of new since we've been working on some of this material together. Now she's smart enough to know that, and always has been, that you're not going to get great accuracy when a technique is new.
No.
And were the shooters she worked with ever disappointed, or did they ever complain about accuracy?
No, not really. Some of them, for example, there would be a steel that was set up to not fall.
Okay.
Some of them would re-engage it again because it was a miss, but that was kind of like a fold makeup, a cold makeup, sorry. And some of them were smart enough to just shoot. If it was a miss, they would still continue with the drill. So it depends on the person. Some of them do require themselves at a higher accuracy mode.
Okay.
But eventually, as they start getting fatigued, they realize that let's do efficacy in motion and not re-engage the plate necessarily, because we are now trying to work on times.
Right. And is efficacy and efficiency the same thing? Pretty close.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty close. I wonder why there's two different words.
You being efficient, or what's the other one?
Efficient. I don't think efficate's a word. I think efficacy. Efficacy.
Yes, and efficient. That's just the noun, I think, of efficiency.
We need to be efficient and efficient and keep on going down the road.
Yeah.
What are some other things that people think they can outsmart? Negative imprints during training, they think they can outsmart that.
Oh, yes.
That's a big one. So the negative imprints during training are the thoughts of ability that you have while you are training. So if you are training and you are thinking, I can't do this, I'm no good, I'm no accurate, I'm slow. See, the duality of the scoring is unique.
Mhm.
I've asked this question so many times and people don't answer it. So I'm going to ask you directly.
Yeah.
Can you think of another sport that has such duality of scoring? Meaning I can do a thing slow and accurate and I can win, or I can do it fast and sloppy and I can win. Is there another sport?
Not that I can think of.
The only thing I can think of, and I've thought about it a lot, is if a sport has a degree of difficulty, a gymnast or a diver could pull off a simpler trick better than somebody else pulled off a complicated trick and could beat that person.
Yeah, I suppose. I was thinking about skateboarding as well, or surfing, where it's varying all the time.
Yeah.
So you can't predict what the waves are going to do. So you need to kind of do something really, really well with what you've got.
Yeah. And that's a good point. The surfer could have a great performance, but complain about the wave conditions.
Yes.
And a diver or a gymnast could, hey, Henny, you did some fighting, right?
Yes, sir.
Is fighting just victory, or could you ever technically lose a fight but win on points?
No.
You could, so it's just victory.
Yes.
Okay, and but are there points in some of these sports?
Yes.
Then you win by the points. It's not always a knockout or the guy giving up.
No.
Okay, so that is a points game.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again, we don't have another sport that I'm aware of that has such duality. And Henny, if you think of one, let me know. It would be like if you raced a car and then when you got done, they expected your car for scratches. And you could come in third, but if you didn't have any scratches, you could be declared the winner.
Yeah, that would be.
No, that it doesn't work that way. So the duality of the scoring in the practical shooting sports is what causes 100% of the frustration.
Yes.
And in the classes we do, the classes I do, the classes Keita does, the class we do together, we remove that frustration.
Because you only get to think about one thing. Or they should be thinking about one thing at a time.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time in training.
Yep.
One thing at a time in competition. In competition, it's only one thing. And on this trip had a record number of people who were trying to think about more than one thing in competition. And the one guy looked at me like I was from Uranus. Like he literally looked at me like I had been teleported out of Uranus. And he said to me, but I must think about my movement. Nope.
Nope.
I must think about my stage plan. Nope. I must think about my grep. Nope. None of those things. And he tried it. He tried it and he took 2 seconds off his time. Were you there at the end of day one when we were sort of, Henny, you were there when we were speed moding that last stage at the end of day one on this last class? And how many seconds did we take off of those times? Henny is messing with the pool pump. Typically 2 seconds per shooter on an 18-second stage. And I believe the slowest time was like maybe a 14 or 16. And then I think we got virtually everybody under 10.
Yes, that's true.
And Berger, what was his final time? 5 something?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 something.
5.8, 5.9.
Yeah, astonishing. And we even got him a full second off. So we got a full second off of the best shooter in South Africa, and we can do that for you. I can do it by myself. Keita Bussey can do it by herself. We can do it in the same class. Do you agree with me, having observed that joint class that we do is the best, most transformative shooting instruction on the planet?
That was next level, I think.
Next level. Yeah, next level. And then when you combine it with mental management, holy moly.
You can't walk away from that. Even from a novice to an advanced shooter, you can't walk away without nuggets and just with, it doesn't matter where you think you need improvement, that will be addressed, and so many other things.
Yeah, and we got we did some. So this was truly an advanced class. So you can sign up for an advanced class, but I'm going to find out when you get there whether we get to do one or not.
Yeah.
And we got to do one finally.
Finally.
Even Connor was doing so much better.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love it when the 3-legged dog catches the ball, because he struggled a lot when we first met him.
3 years or
Something like that. Yeah, Connor was the guy that was struggling with group shooting because they labor under all these misconceptions. I must aim more. No, you mustn't. You must fire the gun without disturbing it. You must accept the wobble. And then they want to keep aiming. And I'm like, hey, are you aiming at your group or your bullet hole? Yeah. Were those my instructions in any way? No. Then why are you doing it? What is no in Afrikaans?
Nee.
Nia.
Nee.
And what is yes?
Ja.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Nia.
Yeah.
Excellent. Outstanding. Yeah. So, what I want to tell you is you are different. You are special. You are unique. And I'm sure your mother loves you. And that is wonderful. However, oh, happy Mother's Day, Shanae.
It was yesterday, but thank you.
I know. I'm wishing you happy birthday today.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Good grief.
I had two grown children in my house yesterday.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Wait, 2 grown children? Me and Henny?
Yes.
Oh, of course. Yes, and you've been mothering us very well. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers. It might still be Mother's Day in some time zone where you are. If not, happy Mother's Day yesterday. I'm getting ready to enter severe time zone confusion as I go from South Africa to Georgia to Wisconsin to get my poor truck. My poor truck has been sitting in Wisconsin for, I think, 2 weeks now, waiting for a new upgraded transmission. So basically, all the proceeds from this trip are being installed in my Chevy Silverado, and I will have forward motion joy. It's with an upgraded billet torque converter.
I know what that is.
I don't know, but it sounds amazing, doesn't it? Like, wouldn't you want that if it was an option?
Always.
Give me an upgraded billet converter. Henny, what's an upgraded billet torque converter? Any idea? Henny doesn't even know. That's how amazing it is. Oh, and here's the other thing that you cannot outsmart. All of the information at the top of anything is going to be counterintuitive. Otherwise, you would already know it. That is something that you cannot outsmart. That's my new obsession.
Because if it wasn't if it was normal run of the mill stuff, the ceiling would be raised and that would be the bar. So if you were at the top, the new stuff that you would have to do would be against the grain in order for you to go higher.
Right. That's my point. So if you're struggling in shooting, that means there's things you don't know. That means there's things that are counterintuitive, right? And otherwise, you'd already know them.
Exactly.
Right. As I navigate relationships, there's things I don't know, right? Like I didn't learn until, I think we talked about this once already. I didn't know until about a month and a half ago that when I make a mistake, I'm still entitled to respect.
Yeah, that was a brand new concept for you.
Right. I could have gone, but it's counterintuitive. Counterintuitive, because when I make a mistake, I come with a bowed head of sorrow and asking for forgiveness, but I'm still entitled to respect. I did not know that. In shooting, if you are trying to fire an accurate shot, your trigger is more important than your sight, as long as your sight is acceptable. It's counterintuitive.
I always say, especially with my new students, that shooting actually is very simple. It's pulling the trigger without disturbing the sight.
Yes.
And when you can learn to do that, especially when you do not decide to pull the trigger or to make the gun go off, I love teaching them to do that, because deciding to make the gun go off will give your body the opportunity to intervene and disturb the sights. And once you understand that you can pull through the wobble.
Oh, awesome. All right, so we need to wrap this up so we can go do some black market drug shopping in South Africa. And
it's all legal.
It's very legal. Yeah, but you're just such an amazing Sharon. You're going to make this happen, aren't you? So we're going to reduce the cost of these pills down like 10%.
What do you pay for them that time?
I just got done paying $1,500 for 90 pills.
It's $30 this side.
For 90?
Yeah.
You think we can get more than 90?
I'm pretty sure. Probably 3 months supply.
Excellent. So if you're interested in some non-black market, non-white market, no, I won't be selling my Eliquis. I'll be taking it. That's probably going to be on that most of the rest of my life, if not the rest of my life, for the deep vein thrombosis, but it's okay. I'm learning to walk. Even learning to walk is counterintuitive. Right? I'm having to do that every day after I get rid of this blood clot. But if you are a new shooter, I want to work with you immediately. So if there's a match director listening to this program and you've got some new shooters, or if you're Kevin McPhee or your rhyme names with Kevin McPhee and want to do a new shooter class, I would love to do a new shooter class. I would love to do junior classes. It's going to be awesome. And Kita goes out of her way not to market to all female classes because she doesn't want people to think that that's a restriction she needs to. But I would be all for some sort of all female class because they have a
think
different
it's
self-image
so-
challenge.
So important for ladies to, especially beginner ladies to train independently from men. They oftentimes try to measure themselves against what the men are doing. So either be super accurate and just do it at a certain pace, or they'll try to do stuff at the pace that men, well, whether it's men or advanced shooters, that's regardless. But if you can get, ladies do tend to feel pressurized by what men can do.
Sure. And the other mistake they make, it's not really a mistake. It's a thing that happens. They compare themselves to men with a higher level of participation.
Exactly.
And that compounds the problem.
Yeah.
So not only are you comparing yourself to a guy who's physically stronger,
Yes.
I don't know that they're faster, but we are stronger.
Definitely stronger. And grip, I found that it took me years of grip training to actually get my gun to a proper grip. Where any guys can just white knuckle something and it's just subconscious almost.
Maybe.
Ladies really need to work on how they handle the gun. And then instead of just trying to be stronger, there are techniques that we can teach them specifically for ladies on how to grip the gun differently with different muscles and arms and stuff like that.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
All right, we need to wrap this up. So the clickbait, I think, is going to be we'll think about the clickbait.
Yep.
The clickbait. And I'm gonna do both of you a favor. I'm not gonna process it and post it until we get back from the doctor's office. Because we're already starting the time zone, because this time zone is coming from the future to America. And so by the time I get it processed and posted, it'll be in the present. And it'll be much less confusing. All right, so thank you for tuning in. Please go to andersonshooting.com or 180firearmstraining.com and look for classes, request classes there, and it will be awesome. I promise you, I can help you become a better shooter very, very quickly. And if we do a class with Keita Bussey, the improvement is absolutely phenomenal, almost indescribable.
Yeah, I don't have other words for mind blowing.
Well, so you have attended more hours of Steve Anderson training than maybe anybody on the planet.
Correct.
Right. And tell them very, very briefly, because we do have to get going, what does Keita Bussey bring to the mix when you combine it with me?
Her approach to movement, how you handle the firearm, she does more technical things. You do, give me this, however you get there, and you've got some fundamentals on reaching the goal. Keita is so systematic and precise in what she teaches you, specifically with where the firearm stays and what your body does in relation to that. It's just different to your approach. She's point by point, and this is the steps, and that's how you get there. And you go, give me this result. Really not very interested in how you do it sometimes even.
Well, it depends if we're shooting for score or if we're training.
Yes.
And I do a lot more shooting for score than she does because people don't know how to do that.
But you don't do fine techniques necessarily.
We will, but I don't require them to use a certain technique.
And you've got principles.
I give them options.
You've got principles more than techniques.
Correct.
And so she brings techniques into the mix where you can really fine tune small things, details. And
the best part is if somebody is a little bit older or not in the best shape physically,
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Then
he's got specific stuff for.
Or if they have an injury.
Correct.
Right. And it's really, really amazing what she brings to the mix. Yeah. All right. So we need to wrap this up. Want to thank Shanae and Henny once again for taking such good care of both of us while we were here. It's always very bittersweet to leave. I think today there will be no crying at the airport. That's our goal. It's hard to say. We'll try our best. No crying at the airport. Henny will not cry at the airport, and we'll try to make him proud. So until we meet again in South Africa, in Wisconsin, or anywhere else, be like me, do what I do, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, love you, bye, and get to work.